My name is Dee, and I am the niece of the trophy wife's husband. Now, I know you know who the trophy wife is because she's been going up and down my timeline for the last couple of days. Her name is Isis, or Paloma, which is her real name. This lady is completely insane. Let's just start from there.
What up, YouTube? Check this out. In this video, I was supposed to give you all the comments and clips to people who chimed in on Isis the trophy wife and her situation. But before I do that, let me give you this. On one hand, we have Isis the trophy wife that says something happened to her two daughters. Now we have on the other side the husband / ex-husband's niece who says that she made this whole thing up. Now, I know we have this thing about believe all women, but unfortunately, when we did that, you know what happened. Now in this scenario, we have two women, and we don't even know which one to really believe now, do we? Now I would hope and pray that this actually didn't happen to those kids. But you know what? Listen, someone out of these two people is definitely not telling the truth. Or maybe some parts are true and some parts are not, but definitely somewhere in this scenario, something just ain't right. So I'm gonna play the clip from the niece, and then I'm gonna play the response clip from Isis the trophy wife in regards to what the niece is saying. And then we're gonna get into all the other stuff, and then we'll go from there. So y'all watch the clip, and I'll be back.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dee, and I am the niece of the trophy wife's husband. Now, I know you know who the trophy wife is because she's been going up and down my timeline for the last couple of days. Her name is Isis, or Paloma, which is her real name. This lady is completely insane. Let's just start from there. Background story. Her and my uncle got together really quick. From what I've been seeing and what I've been told, she thought that she was getting a come up with my uncle. But then when things didn't go her way and she pretty much seen that she could no longer hide the things that she was doing behind closed doors, she ended up trying to find a different route, which was to come on here and lie to you all and tell you that her daughter had been touched by her dad, which that is not the case. Her daughter had been touched by her son, and she didn't want anybody to know because she wanted to try to make it seem like my uncle was the bad guy because she wasn't getting what she wanted in the divorce. For you smart ladies out there who sat up there and thought to yourselves, oh, this cannot be true. This can't be, something that a woman would allow, which it's not. It's not something that a woman would allow. I am a victim of whatever you want to call it. And I don't appreciate one bit of the accusations being put out there, especially not just because they're fake, not just because that they're out there just for clout, but because of the fact that this involves a family member of mine who I care about dearly. Multiple family members, if you want to put that out there, because the kids are my family too. The boys are somebody else's. The girls and the last baby are a part of my family. And if they're being harmed in any kind of way, I definitely would want to stand up for them, for sure. But her son is the one that the baby first initially said that was touching her. My grandmother was changing the baby one day, and she seen that it was red down there, and she said that her brother did it. Now, when they went to court, the court did not believe what she was saying, because Paloma had already ISIS had already put out a case against my uncle, because my uncle was furious when he found out that her oldest son was touching the girls. So he went out and tried to, seek help to figure out what he should do about getting her son away from the girls so that they would no longer have to go through this. But as soon as he did that, ISIS went and took papers out on him, claiming that he did it because she didn't want her son to go down for it. On top of all of this, she's sitting over here acting like she's the best parent in the world, when if y'all go look for yourself, y'all will see that she has a child abuse case of her own. Her youngest son she tried to put it on my uncle that he abused her youngest son, which loves my uncle to death. But the day that her and her ex tried to put out there that my uncle had abused her son, he wasn't in the state. He wasn't nowhere near. So once they went to the hospital and they took the little boy to the hospital, the one thing that they didn't do this time is the social workers pulled him aside and started asking him questions and asked him, who hurt you? Come to find out, the little boy told and said that it was her. Not only that, her oldest son has sent my uncle threatening messages. He has rubbed poop on the walls at multiple family members' house, including theirs. He has pushed his younger brother down the stairs to the point where he had a concussion, and she didn't want to take him to the hospital because she didn't want them to know that she had, a son that had been abusing all her other kids. He's touched his little brother, he's touched his 4-year-old sister, and he's touched his 2-year-old sister. But all of this will come out eventually. My uncle cannot say anything right now because the case is still open. But my thing is, you sitting over here saying that he did all of this stuff, but if he did, the police themselves said that he would be in jail. They would have took him to jail as soon as the hospital said, oh my gosh, the baby's been touched. He would have been in booking right away. He wouldn't be out right now working. He wouldn't be out right now being bothered with all of this extra stuff that you're putting on because of the fact that you want money. Like, what mother uses this platform to sit up there and say, my babies have been touched, and then sit over there and then try to put a GoFundMe page up? Do you know why she's putting that GoFundMe page up? Because my uncle has had enough. And then you want to sit over here and portray to these women out here that, oh, it's okay to be a trophy wife. Just go for that rich man type deal. No, how about go get your own money? How about stop. Please, ladies, please stop waiting on a man to fulfill your life financially, spiritually, emotionally, all this other extra stuff, and find your own way. Do that. Because when you find your own way and you know your self-worth and you know what you are capable of and what you will tolerate and what you won't tolerate, then the good man will come find you. But until you know your self-worth, you're just going to keep picking up anything off the street and being like, oh, okay, he got a little bit of money in his pocket, so he going to treat me right. No. Because what the one thing that you don't realize is that man that has that money, he's also got a little brain in his head too. So he also is already aware of these women that's coming out here to do these things to him or to try to trap him in these ways. Just for money or attention or the clout or whatever. Like, come on. We are in 2024, about to be 2025. Why are we still doing these same little tricks? Somebody needs to be teaching y'all how to make your own money, how to get your own way. So then that way, when you do find that good man with a lot of money, then y'all can build together instead of sitting over there waiting for him to give you an allowance or whatever, your little stipend for the month. Be real. And now he has to suffer without seeing his kids because of the fact that this woman wants to lie and slander his name because she did not get what she wanted in the divorce. The divorce that she did not put out there, by the way. Because me personally, if anybody had did anything to my kid, oh, baby, I'm going down there first thing and divorcing this person. I'm not about to sit over there and wait. If anybody takes my goods without me and my knowledge or without me saying yes, oh, baby, I'm not about to stay married to somebody like that. That's crazy. But for you to sit over there and say that he's done all these terrible things to you, and yet it took him to divorce you and not you to divorce him. Open your eyes, ladies. Stop being stupid. Because this girl is full of lies. Full of lies. Everything y'all heard. First off, let me ask you. Let me get this. Look, who wipes their eyes all the way up here like this when you're crying? Huh? Who does that? Nobody. If I'm wiping my face, I'm wiping all down here because I'm a sloppy crier. And I'm pretty sure most of y'all are too. I don't know why y'all sitting over there trying to act like them housewives doing all that little... No. Let them tears drop if you real. Because if I'm talking about my baby and something like that happened, oh, I don't care if it's ugly cry or not. I'm gonna have snot and everything coming down my face. But this girl could barely even look at the camera the entire time she was talking on this video. I have no reason to lie to y'all. But I want to let y'all know that the disrespect for my uncle, it has to stop. Because this man has done nothing. And so ISIS, this is my message to you. I hope to God that you got your ducks in a row. I hope you hired a new lawyer after the last lawyer set up their case, because she seen that it was no case. So I hope you hired a really good lawyer, or I hope these people give you enough money to where you can get you a good lawyer. You are not a good person. You are not a good mother. You only... And even right now, you're still out there looking for the next victim. You're out here looking for the next victim, and that's so, like, I'm laughing because that's so fucking sad. But you need not come for me and mine. You need to know that. Because this man does not deserve it. And I know some that do. But he doesn't.
I mean, after watching this, let's be honest, I'd rather nothing had happened and she just made up this whole story, period. And no one got, anything happening to them. But clearly something happened. Don't know who did it. Don't know who to believe. And honestly, at this point, this could go either way. But for it not to be true and then to put this man through that would be crazy. For it to be true is already crazy enough. But then to have a third party interjected into this to speak on her uncle's behalf and say that it's not true is just like adding more fuel to the fire here. Like, this is crazy. This is like straight insanity. Like, you don't know who to believe. You don't know who's telling what that's true and who's telling what that's false, and it's just a whole jambalaya of craziness. And honestly, if you really think about it, had she not been so desperate to jump ship, she wouldn't have even jumped into that situation. She might not have jumped into that situation had she taken the time to really move slower instead of being such a fast person looking desperate to jump into a new situation. Because she basically jumped from one to another, and you had kids. Now, I didn't know there was 5 kids. I thought it was just 4. But the way Denise said it, that is the 2 girls and there's a new one. So you came into a situation with 2 kids, gave that man 2, or maybe, gave that man 3, I guess, if they got a new one coming. That whole situation, I mean, honestly, it did sound a bit funky. I gotta be honest, it did sound a bit funky, and it still does sound a bit funky, but in any event, you know, I'm not the person to sit here and try to decipher who's lying and who's not. Anybody's gonna have their opinion on this, and I already have mine, and you know, it is what it is. But to move on from this, let's get to the response from none other than Isis herself and keep it moving.
Hi everyone. I couldn't get on here fast enough. I couldn't get on here fast enough when I heard people are trying to blame my son. I couldn't get on here fast enough. Couldn't get on here fast enough. I thought I heard someone who I've never met in my life coming on here trying to blame my son. Someone whom I've never met in my life trying to come on here and blame my son for the sick and disgusting things that my daughter's father was doing. This is not a game. This is not a game. How dare you? How dare you blame this on an innocent child? You talk about you got proof? You have proof? I've got proof right here. Right here. Show me your paperwork. Show me your paperwork. You talk about I am saying something different than when I was in court. Honey, you weren't even there. Seen you in my life. It's not very good. Oh my gosh. Y'all want to see my protective order? Y'all want to see my protective order? Right here. I'm going to cover my daughter's name. I'm going to cover my daughter's name. In the case of a vulnerable adult and a minor child, a relative, there is a preponderance of the evidence to believe that the respondent committed the following acts of abuse. Statutory abuse of a child. R word or a statutory S offense. Father has been coming into two-year-old and 4-year-old daughters' rooms and SAing them. This is from the judge. There's the case number. It matches the records. There's the proof. There's the proof. There's the proof. I'm done. That's all. I'm done.
Listen, trying to be that trophy wife obviously didn't pan out the way it was supposed to. Because had she just took her time and not try to be this trophy wife, or not try to have, like Denise said, her come up, because let's be honest, if you're learning anything from Shera 7, it's damn sure about to come up. So she took her teachings from Shera 7, put it into her own thing to try to be this trophy wife, and here we are now. I guess that trophy wife life ain't always cracked up to be, unfortunately. Now she's going through all this, and for what? For what? Now your business is out there. Everyone really knows who you are now. Unfortunate incidents have occurred. People are calling you into question, and everybody has their comments about your situation. So here you are, with your 15 minutes of fame in such a negative way. Let's be real. It is what it is. If you look at it, she kind of put this on herself. And unfortunately, she involved others into it. And here we are. But now, let's listen to one more clip, and then we're going to get a couple of comments in. And you tell me how you feel about this.
She was so quick to put it on YouTube. Absolutely. It's very weird and it's irresponsible. Yeah. And I'm going to always, Julia, I promise you, if I'm wrong about something, I'm going to say I'm wrong. If I'm right about something, I'm just going to bring you, my goal is to bring you the most accurate information, right? Listen, we didn't go looking for this family. This family came to us by way of the internet. We're just talking about it, okay? All we're doing is talking about it. And because she brought out legal documents, I found that to be very irresponsible. So I wanted to make sure that the truth about that document, you can't just go out there saying stuff like that. It's irresponsible. It's irresponsible. I'm sorry. The document she produced is a civil matter. It's not a criminal matter, period. Again, I don't know if the man did it or not. None of us know because the case is ongoing. The case, literally the Baltimore, Maryland divorce attorney was able to confirm with us that both cases are currently open. So neither case has been decided on. Do you understand what I'm saying? They're open. So we don't know what happened yet. We don't.
That woman absolutely listened to Shera Sevens, and a lot of y'all who are Shera Seven fans are like, no, she didn't, because if she did, she wouldn't have been online dating, because Shera against that. If she did, she wouldn't have let him meet her kids so soon, because Shera against that. She did like so many of y'all do, and she has selective hearing. That's what it is. That don't mean she didn't listen to Shera. It means she selectively listens to her messages and she chooses the parts she want to abide by and the parts that she don't. She added her own little remix to it. But nevertheless, she was inspired by the lifestyle that is being promoted by Shera Sevens. Now, let's be very clear. Shera is not responsible for grown adults and the stuff that grown adults choose to do.
She is right about that. You can't be responsible for what grown adults do. But you can be responsible for what you do and for what negative messages you put out there for people to absorb and try to use. So, is she fully responsible in any way? No. But I think honestly, she should have a little accountability on the negative side of information that she puts out there. Because after all, you're not called an influencer if you're not influencing somebody in some capacity, right? So, with that being said, yes, I think she has a little bit of accountability for what happened to this girl, but that's just me. You know what I'm saying? Y'all might not agree with me, but that's just my way of how I see it.
Shera can make all the videos she wants, and it's up to you as an individual as to whether or not you want to actually listen to what she's telling you and go follow those rules. Regardless of what video it is, regardless of what message it is your personal choice to take her messages and actually apply it to your real life. I ain't got no beef with Shera because I respect the hustle. I done said it before and I say it always. Shera is the woman version of Kevin Samuels, regardless of whether or not you want to admit it or not. They gave the same message. They preached the same message. All right. It's just with a different twist. But her hustle was the same hustle as Kevin. Just like I respected Kevin's hustle, I respect her hustle because it's the same hustle.
God damn it! You can't make this shit up.
It ain't no different than when the Pookies was out here listening to Kevin Samuels and forgetting the part about you actually having to have money in order to apply what Kevin was saying. Right? It's the same thing, same situation. But at the end of the day, like I said, is it her fault? No. It could never be her fault for grown people doing what grown people want to do. Right? But we ain't gonna sit up here and act like the inspiration wasn't Shera, because it definitely was. All right, just like she's inspired a lot of y'all. But like I said, that selective hearing get y'all every time. Y'all choosing and picking what you want to hear from people's messages completely different.
Shera Seven fully accountable? I'm gonna say no. But I think there's a little bit of accountability that should be held by Shera Seven, only because some of the things that she says aside from the ones that people deem positive and uplifting, still was put out there for someone to absorb, take in, and try to apply. Now, we don't know what she took exactly, and we can see how she tried to apply it by making her own channel and making videos for her, subscribers to subscribe to, and hopefully, use and make something of. But still in all, she got it from someone else. And people in this world have got caught up in stuff for less. People have sued people for less. So, yes, I think that she should have a little bit of accountability up in there. Because she's the one that this girl got the information from that changed her life. It sure did change her life. Unfortunately so. Not in the way that she would have hoped. But, hey, that's just me. That's just how I see it. Obviously, a lot of y'all might not see it that way, but, hey, that's just me.
Send her to jail. I'm serious. Send Isis, the trophy wife, to jail. And I'll tell you why I think that. When things happen to children and legal enforcement has to be involved, the details of the cases are not public information. It is for the children's protection, whether they are alive or unalive. The information is not available for the public to know the harsh details or really like the full extent of any story. So for you as a mother to get online and, not even cover their faces, but to cover the baby daddy's face, and then to share what happened to these young children, where it's going to be on the internet forever now, whether you delete this content or not. The digital footprint is there. I think all around it's inappropriate. And quite frankly, I think that you should do jail time for even just that. Second of all, I think that if anything has happened to a young woman because they were listening particularly to Isis, the trophy wife, that she, not Shira 7, should be the one to blame and should face legal repercussions because of it. Because you were making lifestyle content knowing what your husband was doing to you behind closed doors. And knowing that that was going on, you still chose to make content. You were still making money off of vulnerable women, low self-esteemed women, women who were like you, not doing things the right way, not vetting people, not doing the healing work, the self-work to mentally get yourself in a space to where you are not being involved with predatory men. Because not all rich men are predatory, and just like I lost my thought there, but
Rich men could be predatory and rich men could not be predatory. Regular dudes can be predatory and regular dudes can be not predatory. Doesn't matter, income, status, anybody at any point in time, male or female, can be predatory. Okay, let's go.
she didn't do what she needed to do as a mom and as a woman to make sure she was good and make sure her children were good. And she tried to make $1 off of it. And so anyone who has been essayed, raped, any of that, as a result of listening to Isis's videos and taking her advice, I think Isis should be responsible for that. I don't think Shira 7 should be fully responsible, because if you listen to her long-winded 3-hour videos, she, on the surface level, she's saying a lot of the same things, but in those 3 hours, she does break down. You don't date or freestyle when you have young children. Your focus should be in being a mother. What else does she say? I mean, even for her own husband, they were together for 3 years before they even got married, and as a young woman. So don't blame that woman. Don't blame that woman.
What?
But Isis, I do think that you have some blame if something happens to women. And I just want to know, what do you guys think? Should there be legal repercussions for influencers who get on here touting a lifestyle that is not true, or is welcoming negative consequences? What are your thoughts?
All I'm gonna say is this: if you can hold Isis accountable, you can hold Shera 7 accountable. Because despite how it sounds, they both put negative stuff out there. One's touting a lifestyle that ain't real. The other one's giving you information that you should not use. Trust and believe. Because if Isis got it from Shera and tried to apply it and it didn't work, come on. If the information wasn't put out there for her to receive in the first place, she might not have gotten into that position. She might not have even been talking about being a trophy wife. It is what it is. So no matter how you want to slice it, I'ma still stand by it. If you gonna give it to her, you gotta give it to her too. And the final clip from none other than Shera 7 herself.
Meant to be smart, not desperate. If you're desperate, don't claim me. I'm sorry, but if you're sitting out there, you learned everything from me. Did you learn how to be smart? Did you learn how not to be desperate? You didn't learn from me. You learned from whoever putting clips out on TikTok 30 seconds long. You didn't learn from me. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Did you learn from this channel, or did you learn from 30-second clips on TikTok? Because I didn't put those out. You didn't learn from the YouTube channel? Did you learn over here? Did you learn what I said after 30 seconds? Did you hear what I said after sprinkle, sprinkle, or before? Did you hear that? Did you hear when I said stop being desperate? Did you hear when I said don't be a pygmisha? Did you hear when I talked about background checks? Did you hear when I talked about all this other stuff? About not dealing with men if you have kids until they're old and grown enough to speak for themselves and be in school and whatnot. Did you not hear when I said all of that? Because you was not following the real account. Don't blame me.
Now, reality can be whatever I want.
We don't know what she followed. I doubt it was 15 to 30-second clips, because if the lady changed her whole life, she had to see more than that. So I don't know anybody on this planet that follows everything a person says to the letter. I don't know a person that does that. So whatever she heard, whatever she absorbed from Shera 7, and she applied it, obviously didn't work for her situation. Because no matter what she says and what she puts out there, everything can't be applied to everybody's situation. Some situations take turns, and you gotta shift on the fly. So, regardless of what Shera 7 says in her 2 hours, 3 hours long YouTube montage or whatever, doesn't matter. She's putting information out there, whether you want to call it positive, whether there is some positive messages in there, which there is. I'm not gonna say there's not, but it all comes to one conclusion, depending on what you're looking for. And when she comes down to the end of it, it doesn't sound like it's a message that you really want to apply to your life. But people do it, and a lot of people have failed doing it, so it is what it is. Anyway, that was it. Moving on from this situation. Hopefully that gets resolved. Hopefully we find out in the end who was telling the truth, who was lying, and then we'll be done with that situation. But until then, all we can do is monitor it and see how it goes. Once again, your man, the Street Mechanic. Till the next one.